Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name's Zoe. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I really do hope that you decide to subscribe, and if you're a current subscriber, please make sure that your bell is on, as YouTube doesn't like suggesting the kind of content that I like to make. As you can tell, today's video is not a true crime video. I recently had somebody pass away in my family, so I've had a lot going on the past couple of days, and true crime is just not where my mind's been at all. So I thought I'd come on here and tell some scary stories. I just thought it'd be a good idea for me to sit down and tell some scary stories, as most of the people that I watch on YouTube do that themselves, and I find it really entertaining, so I thought you would find it entertaining as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in the description box for both stories that I'm telling today, so you can go and read the original author's work. This video might be a long one, so make sure you go and get yourself a drink or a snack, and let's jump right into the scary stories. This one is called My Strange Childhood Memory. When I was about 6 or 7, I remember living in the suburban area of San Jose, California, Los Gatos to be exact. There's a middle school in that area that my older sister used to attend to. I have a fond memory of going there late one night, probably around the winter season. Now, it's important to note, at the time, smartphones were becoming a cool thing for teenagers to have. I didn't have my first smartphone until I was about 12 or 13. The point is that around that age, I wanted to have a smartphone badly. I would do anything to get my hands on one. There's this area in the school that leads to the field. If I remember correctly, I attended the school for 1 year in 6th grade. The area in question is right next to the cafeteria. During that day, the area is pretty normal and generic. However, during the darker hours of night, the area is spooky and silent. On that dreaded night, my mum and sister went off with the principal into a classroom to talk about my sister's grades and her performance in school. I eventually wandered off into the school quad out of curiosity. Eventually, I came across the previously mentioned area. Standing near the entrance to the spooky dark abyss was a hooded guy, somewhere around the age of 20 to maybe 18. I remember having a conversation with him about his smartphone. At one point, I clearly remember him saying in a serious toned voice, "Do you want one?" Now, being the naive, innocent child that I was at that time, I of course said yes, in an energetic and enthusiastic tone of voice. He then told me, "If you go over there, I'll go with you and give you mine." He was pointing to the previously mentioned area. What I realised now, looking back on it, the same area also leads to a drive-in for the school as well. It is a direct drive-through of sorts. I assumed for maybe delivery trucks or kids that bike to school. He probably had a vehicle or something with him that he was maybe planning on having me go in with him. Now, my mum had informed me about stranger danger at a very young age, and I thank her very much for that, because it has allowed me to avoid possibly being kidnapped. After he made his proposal, I got a weird feeling, an uneasy one, and I have to give credit to myself for my excuse to leave. I said something along the lines of, "Let me go and ask my mum." I then ran off, not looking back, and I told my mum about the encounter. She then had me stay with her for the rest of the visit. On the way out of the school, the hooded man was gone. I recently remembered this experience, and I asked my mum about it because I had absolutely no recollection of what happened after we left the school. I don't know if my mum called the cops or not. When I brought it up with her, she had no idea what I was talking about. At this point, I'm beginning to believe it's just a dream or something. But I clearly remember it all, and there was nothing dreamlike about it at all. That's sort of my story with almost being kidnapped. I didn't know where else I could post this. I'm new to Reddit and don't use it that much. If anybody has any information about the area or any ropes that could tie my experience to something else, please do inform me. It's been bothering me for some weeks now, and I've been really wanting some form of closure. No, I didn't expect that story to end with the person saying it could have been a dream, because it was really creepy. The thought of someone standing behind the school and trying to lure people in is creepy to think about, but it does happen. So it is totally possible that that happened to that person. Let me know what you thought about that first story in the comments below. This one is a bit of a longer one, and it's called A Guy with a Pickaxe and Ropes Tried to Kidnap My Girlfriend. I'm a long time reader, and the stories on here are crazy, harrowing and ultimately powerful because we are all here to tell a tale. So I decided to post an experience that my girlfriend had, because why not? This happened to her when she was in high school. She was on the school's Nordic ski team and practiced all the time. It's a demanding sport. Even when there's no snow on the ground, you need to stay in shape by ski running, a weird form of jogging and hopping as if you have skis on, skating with big specialised rollerblades, or simply jogging. Nordic trails are usually trails or paths groomed when there's snow, so she would train on these paths all around the lakes and through the woods. One day she's just jogging on a trail she's been on dozens of times, not far from her neighbourhood. This area is owned by the park system, and there is a permanent bathroom building next to the parking lot. She finished her loop and went to go to the bathroom before heading home. Before going in, she saw a guy sitting on the bench that's outside the bathroom talking on his phone. Immediately, she felt like something was off about him. It was as if whoever he was talking to on the other end kept interrupting him. He'd say things like, "Yeah, I know that's, yeah, I don't know, crazy that's," but it didn't sound like he was giving the other person enough time to talk. How was he being interrupted even though he wouldn't pause? Even though we could only hear part of what's being said with people on phones, it seems random. Also, he kept looking down both ways of the trail. When she walked by him, she could feel his eyes following her to the bathroom. The moment she closed the bathroom door, he stopped talking. He went silent. It was weird how he wasn't pausing and then bam, just completely silent. No goodbye or frustrated sounds of dropping the call. By the way, these are the bathrooms that have those little cracked windows even when it's cold out. One of the windows was on the wall towards the bench. She didn't go to the bathroom but waited for a minute. She heard his footsteps on the gravel as he took what sounded like a few steps closer to the door. He was pretending to talk on the phone. Then that was it. She braced herself and swung the door open and ran to the car. That was it. She braced herself, swung the door open and ran to her car in the parking lot. The only two cars were hers and his. As soon as she started running, he started running behind her. She got into her car and she looked to see that he ran to his and opened the trunk and pulled out a freaking pickaxe and rope. What the fuck? She also saw a blue tarp lying in the trunk, kind of spilling out because his car was a small sort of sedan. He started fast walking to her car and she reverses backwards, flooring it over the median, onto the grass and onto the main road. She saw him run back and jump into his car and he backed up too. She started bucking it down the road and he followed. She said that she sped up to 100 miles per hour and he wasn't far behind. Obviously, instead of going home, she took a bunch of random turns. This was a fairly rural area, so it was difficult to lose him without traffic lights, people, etc. She doesn't remember how long she was driving, probably only a few minutes when she finally lost him, or he gave up. She drove for hours until dusk when she decided it was safe to go home. She told her parents, but they never filed a police report, which really bothers me. But I figured they probably thought that they wouldn't have enough to go on, even though she had a few good looks at him and his car. But I don't want to press on them and it makes them feel guilty. She finished that Nordic ski season going to state finals. The scariest encounter of her life didn't even mess up her season. Also, her and I occasionally go for walks on that path in that area, right by the bathroom, because it's a beautiful walk. So fuck you, scary pickaxe guy, you can't take that from us. Without telling my girlfriend, I occasionally check the news in that area for any kidnappings or disappearances, because who knows? He could still be out there. That creeps me out. Stay safe out there and don't let these creeps take your peace of mind. So that is all for the second one. Please let me know in the comments down below if you did enjoy this video. If you want to go and show some love to the authors of these stories or experiences, whether they are real or fake, go to the links below and go and show them some love, because these were really well written. The second one really got me. I was like, oh my god, she's gonna get caught. And then her parents not telling the police. I'm like, why? Just tell the police. If anything ever happens to you, no matter if it's something really small and you might not think it's relevant, please tell somebody, because it might be relevant in the long run when somebody else gets hurt. And I don't want to make people feel bad, but it's true. So that is all for today's scary stories. If you did enjoy this video, please let me know down below. Please let me know if you want me to do another scary story. If you have any scary stories that you want me to tell, maybe it's your own experiences, send it to my email. My email's in the description box and I can do a video on that. But yeah, that is all for this video. I do have a true crime video planned for later next week. But apart from that, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I shall see you in my next true crime video. Bye.